Hey, see the camera and that's the screen.
I know.
Do whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I keep looking at the screen.
I had to write it down because I forgot what we called the show. Welcome to Less Than Zero.
Yes, that's the name.
Your name
is it?
Your name is Miss
Shelley.
This is Shelley. My name is Blaine. Welcome to the podcast. I feel weird saying podcast because it's not a podcast, really.
No, because podcasts, most of them, you can't see the people.
Are audio only.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the olden days, you couldn't see people. So welcome to the show. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you for doing what you do and being who you be. Halloween is pretty awesome.
It is a big deal.
A very big deal. Don't call us in October because we won't be here.
No, we're busy. We're always busy.
Yeah.
It is my favorite.
Yeah. It's basically your religion.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, we were both born in October.
That is true. And my brother as well, Tyler.
Yeah.
So what's this video about? Okay, so we are in southeastern Ontario, and there's some cool attractions that we try to go to every year for Halloween, finding some new ones and what have you.
COVID really hindered that one, sadly.
But everything's back open this year.
Yes, our favorite one is actually open again this year.
We went to one last year too. But there was, they're all good, and there's one really bad one and interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't say bad because it never happened.
We don't know. You're supposed to save that one for the last.
Yeah, I'm teasing it. We're saving it for the last. So stay tuned to the end to hear the peculiar story of a certain attraction that moves around every year. I guess it's always in a different spot.
I really don't know because we didn't get. Yeah,
and I don't care because we're not going back.
I don't know.
So we've done a bunch of them. Where do you want to start?
Well, we have ones that we like to go to every year.
Yeah.
Sadly, of course, with COVID, everything went. So it's not just them. Everything. I mean, the entire world was, in a upheaval. I mean, rightfully so. It's a big deal. But we do have our favorites, and as far as I can tell, this year, right as of now, they are going to do it for Halloween, or the month of October. So we will be going to the one that we really like, and it's like a haunted barn.
You're talking about Phantom Farm?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Port Hope, Ontario.
Yeah, it's great. Awesome. I really like it, and I never get tired of it.
No.
We have a local one here. But I like to our Fort Fright, which has been awesome. But things don't change fast enough, so I always give it a year or two in between, and then go back because then it's different. So if you do the
Fort Fright is really good for a lot of variety. Yeah, like if you wait a couple of years and go back to Fort Fright, it's not even
totally different,
close to
or
what it used to be.
It's changed. If you're fanatics like we are that love going to creepy, scary, spooky houses that, do a lot of haunted houses, then you start to recognize certain things in the house. Like they use the animatronics in different areas and stuff, which is fine because I really enjoy it. So that doesn't bother me. But you start to see a pattern. Mm-hmm.
Phantom Farms has 2 attractions. It's in Port Hope, Ontario. And you go there, I think this year you said it was going to be $15 a piece.
Yeah.
You're going to buy 2 tickets because you're going to go in the haunted. Yeah, you're going to go in the haunted barn and you're going to ride the haunted hayride, which is fantastic. Excuse me. And maybe perhaps a water. I know Grandma's watching this. Like, it's not water.
It's water.
It's water.
I'm not. I can't do it.
Cheers, British Grandma. But yeah, the big fan of the Phantom Farms. They're finally back going, so that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Last year we went to Casa Loma.
Oh.
In Toronto. Because
that was wonderful. Yeah.
In Toronto, Casa Loma, they use Casa Loma a lot to film movies at and stuff. It's an old castle. And they set that whole thing up for Halloween, and it took
was incredible.
40 minutes to an hour to get from the start to the finish. And when you came out at the end, you were in the stables, which is actually like 3 blocks through a neighborhood on the other side of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're in the stable? Like, we come out, I'm like, I got to walk back to my car now.
Now, I've been there before.
You're snaking through these catacombs, not knowing where you are until you actually come out the other side. Very cool.
I had gone before. I have been before during the summer, you know, when they have the garden that we went and saw all the creepy stuff. They actually have flowers, and it's quite lovely.
Oh,
so I have been there before.
You didn't go for a Halloween thing?
No, this is the first time I've been for the Halloween.
I really like that.
But why would I go with anybody else but you?
For Halloween?
Yeah.
Nobody would probably go with you. Weirdo.
I am a bit of a weirdo.
But I liked what they did. That was really cool.
I liked the hologram over the castle. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was neat. They had a
really
laser show, or kind of a big projector of some kind, where they must have taken into account what they had. And then they animated stuff on the castle wall. So you've got the windows you're looking at the castle wall. There's a tower with a window at the top. And then the way that they broadcast this image onto it, like a great big movie screen, you know, like one window looks like it catches fire, then like ghosts are flying
and
from one window to the other. The bats,
they're like,
you know,
awesome.
And then like the whole building catches fire, and it looks really neat. It's pretty cool. That was a good one. I really liked that castle and what they did there. A lot of work, man. Holy man, there wasn't even a dead spot in that place.
No, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Which I find out.
Now I don't know if I'd do it again this year because I don't know if it would change much.
I don't think so. I think they have you could only do so much stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot of stuff that they
pile
did.
A lot of stuff
that's a lot of stuff. And we've done Saunders Farms, which is Ottawa, right?
Ottawa, yeah. See, Saunders Farms is unlike Phantom Farms. Phantom Farms is in Port Hope is local, family-run, like volunteer-run thing. And they only do it for Halloween.
I think they pay their staff, but they are a smaller operation than Saunders Farms. Saunders Farms is actually a tourist area because they do
all year.
They do apple picking and stuff in the fall, and they have stuff going all year round for the farm. But Halloween they did really well.
Yeah, it's more of a business. But yeah, Halloween they switched the whole thing around. They've got 3, 4, 5 attractions. 5
attractions inside, which are all really well done.
Yeah, really cool. Haunted house.
The family,
the shambles or something. Camp slaughter. And then every year they kind of come and go. They'll switch them up a little bit.
And they have people throughout. Like they have the people. Yeah, they have the hayride. You get whiplash on the hayride though, so bring neck support because they drive fast.
He drives her, man. He's in
he's in like whoa.
The whole time.
Yeah, not like Phantom Farms where it's a leisurely. We're going to stop at this and watch this. We're going to stop. This is like we're hauling.
Yeah.
Can we swear?
You can swear.
Hauling
fucking
ass.
Right, you can.
All right, hauling ass on that tractor.
Yeah. Saunders Farm, they don't mess around, man. They're moving people.
They're moving, and they have people to chase you.
That was funny.
They have a similar thing at Phantom Farm too, where there's the guy with the chainsaw. But
they have creepy dudes like hanging out, kind of not right in the lineup, but like outside in the back. You'll see something in the forest, or you'll hear a chainsaw, and then he'll sneak around and scare people. It's fun to watch.
I really
actors
enjoy it.
At Phantom Farms.
Saunders Farms, the guy, you know, he was trying his best, and I had to say to him, you know, you're doing fabulous, but I just don't run.
No.
So around over there, I did see a bunch of teenage girls. They'll definitely run.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. You're doing awesome. Like, fabulous job. Really appreciate the effort. I don't run.
What were they dressed up as?
Oh, zombies? I think so. And they had chainsaws, and they were chasing you with chainsaws, and they come running up behind you. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to break my ankle running away from you.
And we don't get scared. They're looking for people who get scared.
Yeah,
which was the best, because remember at Fort Fright here in Kingston.
Yeah.
We went one year with friends of ours,
yes.
And Trish brought her mom.
Yeah, our friend.
They had, you know, the creepy zombie old soldiers, because it's an old fort. Like, it actually is an old fort from, like, you know, they built it like 200 years ago. So all these guys dressed up as in the old soldier uniforms, and they look like zombies, and they wander around. And we went there with Trish and her mom, and it was
her family.
It was basically the whole crew was there.
Yeah.
And the zombie guys are trying to scare us. And we're like, man, you got to go. That lady right there wearing the purple jacket, her name's Jackie.
Yeah.
So then creepy zombie...
Karma's going to bite us in the ass.
Creepy zombie soldier guy disappears for a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Jackie's just... Because she's screaming at everything.
Oh, yeah.
She's hysterical about everything in that place.
That's why I love her.
They come back and like all these zombies are moaning her name. How do you know my fucking name? Oh my God, it was fantastic.
Yeah, we're mean. We're
staff at the Fort Fright, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. How long?
A long time ago.
It was a while. Jackie's gone now, but man, it's so fucking funny. We told him what her name was, and Buddy went and told everybody what her name was.
And I have to be really careful with the karma because I'm not really that fond of clowns.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
There is a creepy ass clown there one year. I was just so thankful that no one thought to tell that clown my name.
Yep.
Or I would not have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rule is don't touch the actors. Absolutely, no. I agree. Don't touch the actors. No. But creepy ass clown. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have no idea why. And no, I've seen it. And yes, I love Tim Curry. So that's not why.
Yeah,
that's not why. Yeah, everybody always says, "Oh, it scared you." I'm like, no, it didn't, because it's just Tim Curry, and it looks just like Tim Curry, so I'm not afraid of him.
Pennywise is just Tim Curry.
Just Tim Curry. So I was never afraid of Pennywise. I blame my dad.
You'll float too.
Well, yeah, I float. I'm buoyant.
Yes.
So I have no problem. But I blame my father because he too has a clown phobia.
What other ones have we gone to? There was one out in Bath. Didn't we do a corn maze of some kind?
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah. Yeah, and that's when you had the map and you had to find all of the, it was a corn maze.
Yeah,
I don't think so much it was haunted.
Yeah.
But there were things hidden in the corn maze for the kids.
That wasn't really a Halloween thing. I think that was more of an autumn season.
That was because it was at the apple orchard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't gone
my daughter and her stepson. So we went with them, and we had a blast.
That was
a lot of fun.
It's a family event.
Yeah. It was a big family.
We haven't got to see the Canada's Wonderland set up yet.
No, we haven't.
Maybe one year.
Someday.
It's another one of those ones. It's a long drive to get there, and it's going to be just piles of people.
Yeah. So another thing.
There's a lot of good local ones.
Yeah, and I don't do a lot of people. Like I'm not a big crowdy person. So
no. Keep it local. That way we're not 3 hours away from the house. And so I think it's down to the wire here. Yeah,
to the one that we shall not speak.
Yeah.
Well, I feel bad saying it was terrible because I really don't know it was terrible. All I know was the setup for it was not good.
We couldn't find it.
We bought tickets.
Yeah. They got our money.
Yeah, they got our money.
So you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. That was $60. You're welcome.
Yeah.
$30
Should we say the name of it? What was it called? Dr. Foreboding's Haunted something or other? Can't even remember. Haunted, Dr. Foreboding's something.
You could probably look it up.
Maybe. But it was so weird.
But it was in Gananoque this year.
No, it was Brockville.
Was it? Are you sure it was Brockville?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It was Brockville.
You found it probably on Facebook.
I did.
This haunted attraction.
I did. And I was so excited because it was supposed to be like super scary. I was very, very excited. We bought tickets to go. Yeah. We drove to Brockville on the day that because of COVID, they kept the
you had to buy your
and you were allotted a time. Yeah. So you had to come at the time that you were allotted with the small group that you were supposed to go with because it was still, under COVID restrictions, which was wonderful that they did that. However,
that actually streamlined a lot of stuff because if you had to have a time slot, you weren't standing there with 400 other people.
Even the Castle, and you had a time slot. Your ticket was you bought the ticket for a specific time to be there at a specific time so that you can go in with your group.
Yeah, it helps with big lines.
It does, and it keeps the group smaller so that you're not tripping over each other. Everybody gets a chance to see all of the scares so that, you're not walking just in time for another person to trigger it.
Yeah.
Because you all go in.
20 people, the last guy's not getting anything.
Yeah, because that's just, I don't like when that happens because then you miss out. And then I'm the type of person that's going to stand there and wait for the scare. Which holds up the line because I missed it.
I want to see.
But
what
I paid for this, so I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, exactly.
And
wait. You paid for it, so you're kind of like, I want to see some stuff.
So that's probably.
But this thing, so we bought our tickets, and they were
$30
fine.
Piece,
I think they're $25, $30 each.
$30
I think we spent $50
plus gas.
plus gas.
$60 plus gas.
Yeah. So was it $30 each? I thought it was 25. I guess it doesn't really matter.
I don't know.
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
They got our money, so we go there, and there's an address.
Which is great because we Googled it and we pinned it on our little Google map.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm like, where is it? It's like, oh,
we even went the day before to scope it out to make sure we knew where we were going in the dark. Don't forget, we went before when we were up in Brockville. We said, oh, this is where it was going to be.
I think we were rolling through there.
Yeah, and we checked it out.
Shoot up the road there
and see where it's going to be because it looked really good because it's a big warehouse, right?
Yeah, because I've been a courier for a million years, and I've done Brockville deliveries before. So when you mentioned that the address was, let me see, I can't remember the name of the street. I know where it is though. Brockville. Is it North Augusta Road?
I think so.
It was North Augusta Road. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, it's number 100 and let me check. Speedy. Where's Speedy? Where's Carefree Pools? Because that's how I knew where it was. So right around the right around the 100 block of North Augusta Road, right? So Carefree Pools is like a number 100, I think. Speedy's like 110. So I'm like, okay. And this address is like 122. Mm-hmm. There's a big, massive warehouse there, and it's like an antique. Which was so exciting. Yeah, it's an antique store, and there's a company, I think, that rents out space in this place. So if you want to store your boat for the winter, like it's just a gigantic, older warehouse building. And
it had possibilities.
We're like, they must have rented a spot in that big building just before you go over the train tracks on your way to Walmart. Cool. So we're in Brockville that day, probably shopping downtown or whatever. So we took a run up. I'm like, oh, that's where the place is. So a couple weeks later, we come back and nothing. Right?
No.
Dark parking lot. Not
a light. No parking. Like the parking lot. We get there and we're allotted at our time. We were there like 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
There is a parking lot with no light except for one way off in the corner. No cars. There was no cars.
It was a white pail.
Yeah.
Upside down with a flashlight in it.
That's it.
So then we're like, oh, I guess maybe we're in the wrong spot.
Yep. So we go.
So we left.
And we double checked the spot.
I'm like, I know it's the right spot because that's the address they're showing us on the email.
Yeah. And then we decide,
try to phone a phone number.
So there's a phone number that comes with it.
Yeah.
So we phone the phone number thinking someone's going to pick up and say, oh, no, you're in the right spot. It goes right to a voicemail. And it's not a business voicemail.
Yeah, right to a voicemail, some random thing that makes no sense.
It's a private voicemail. It's not a business. It doesn't have the name of the business that we're trying to reach. It doesn't have any information at all about the Halloween event.
It wasn't like the property owner's phone number?
Nothing. So we decide, okay, we're going to go back.
Yeah.
So we do. We go back, and still there's no doors open. And it's still dark, and there's still no cars in the parking lot.
Not to mention, like when you're on North Augusta Road, and in the front there's nothing. Mm-hmm. So there's a side parking lot on the north side of the building, and we're not like right at the street. We're looking through this dark parking lot that's not lit. There's no street lights because now you're at the end of the road before the bridge goes over the train tracks. So there's no street lights there. There's no street lights in the yard. There's no street lights on the building. There's nothing, and you're looking like we're talking like 100 yards down the building, there's kind of an open door.
Kind of.
But
and there's someone not in a costume, mind you. He's just standing there.
It's just a person.
Now,
and one car. Like an old car.
If I were a business owner and I was putting on an event and I wanted to be extra creepy and I wasn't smart enough to put a sign to say that this is Dr. Foreboding's, whatever it was, Warehouse of Horror, I can't remember what it was called, I would have personally put out a big sign to tell people that you're in the right place.
Right.
But even if I hadn't, and there was one of my actors was standing outside, I would have at least flagged down the car and said, if you're here for the haunted attraction, you're in the right place. You found us.
Nothing.
Yay.
Because nothing. I'm like, why is there not
nothing
at the road? There's not even like a jack-o'-lantern on a chair.
Nothing.
There's
no
not
name.
There's no Christmas
the gentleman never
lights
came out to approach us. He just watched us drive out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
And of course, as being horror movie fanatics ourselves, I say, I've seen this on a horror movie.
Horror movies start like this.
I'm not getting out of the car and approaching the warehouse because
it doesn't look approachable. It doesn't look approachable at all.
I mean,
you've got nothing Halloween themed.
I get the idea of Halloween, it's supposed to be scary. I get that idea, but it's still an attraction. You still have to attract people to the event.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And when you sum it all up, it's a dark parking lot. No cars in the parking lot.
Nothing.
One white pail with a flashlight underneath it. The phone number that you gave us doesn't go to anything except for a voicemail that's not associated with the business. And the stranger standing outside of the building is one, not in costume. Two, standing there having a cigarette. And three, doesn't approach us to tell us we're in the right place.
He's got a bucket with a light underneath.
Yes.
That's a great idea if you're going to have a dart. I'm like, that's not, hey, come check out our haunted house.
And I'm thinking to myself.
And we checked the Facebook page.
Yeah, and their Instagram, which hadn't been active since the beginning of October. There was been nothing new posted on either their Instagram or their Facebook page.
There was like a 4 or 5 month lapse in interactivity on their social medias. And you're like.
This hasn't been active.
We're leaving.
Yeah.
So we went and got a burger and left.
So we chose life.
Yes.
Yeah.
We chose.
We didn't go down the dark basement after the house told us to get out.
If Dr. Foreboding is at a different address this year,
with some lights and a sign,
check it out.
We might actually go.
Yeah.
But that was our interesting Halloween excitement.
That was
adventure.
That was probably our least favorite one that we've ever been to.
Mm-hmm. I would have to second that.
Yeah, unfortunate enough, but all they needed to have was like a flamethrower and like a pumpkin.
Or a sign that said you're in the right place.
Yeah.
I get the parking lot because you have to break it up, but I'm sure we're not the only people. I'm sure we're not the only people that booked a 9 o'clock slot.
No.
So how come we were the only people that showed up?
Right, the 9:15 people would have been waiting. You'd think,
because we got there 5 minutes early.
Or the 8:45 people would have been on the way out.
But where the hell are their cars? Did they all walk there? It's a parking lot for the actual, entertainment. They have a parking lot, but yet there was no cars in it. So, they were running since 7 o'clock. So how come at 9 or 9:30 we were the only people there?
Yeah, very odd.
It's really odd.
But like I said, on the flip side, Phantom Farms, family-run deal, Port Hope will be there this year. Hopefully, they sell merch. They got a snack bar.
I want a sweater.
When you pull up to that place, there's 500 people in there. Oh, lights are flashing. Music's going crazy. The
sign on the road is a little hard to see. We have driven past it.
They got this weird.
But once you get there, you realize you're there for entertainment. You're there for an attraction. They have people, lots of parking.
The sign on the road is that it's a black in the middle of the night. It's a black piece of plywood, but then they have they have the name with their logo in that reflective material. But it's right at the road. It's right at the turn. By the time your headlights hit it, and you're like, oh, hey, Phantom Farms. And you're like, oh, right there. And you're doing 80 because you're in the country. And you got to stop, turn around, come back. Yeah. But you find the place.
And when you get there, you're in the right place because there's about 100 cars. And there's these poor fellas out there with their little thingies directing traffic, telling us where to go. And everybody's laughing and having a good time. And you can hear the people in the hayride screaming their heads off.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And you're in the right place. And it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
It's my favorite. I really enjoy it. And I never get tired of going.
Did you really enjoy it?
I do. Very much so. I would actually sell my husband for a ticket.
How many tickets?
Just one, because I'd sell you for it.
I'm only worth one, though?
Well, why? I wouldn't be going with anybody else but you.
Huh. Thanks for watching Less Than Zero. I've been Blaine. She's been Shelley. You've been you. Have yourself some good mosh pitting.
Yes, good mosh pitting.
Stay safe in the pit.